Well, one other football line in Coventry have got their first win since returning to the Championship. That header, 6 minutes from time from Kyle McFadden, gave them a 3-2 win over QPR. Now to golf. It's been a difficult second round at the US Open, with most of the field struggling to get below par at the cut. Patrick Reed is one of the few who has managed it, though. This birdie here taking him to 4 under overall, a round of 70. Bryson DeChambeau is one behind him after a 2 under 68. There's plenty more score information over at skysports.com. Now, Ireland's Sam Bennett is all but assured of the green points jersey going into the penultimate stage of the Tour de France. That's after making even more gains on his closest rival, Peter Sagan. Salford are into the semi-finals of Rugby League's Challenge Cup after beating Catalan Dragons in extra time. They didn't lead at all in the regulation 80 minutes, but here Dan Sargensen's try giving them a 22-18 win. Joining Salford in the last 4 are Leeds, who thrashed Hull KR 48-18. 2 of their 8 tries coming from Cruz Leeming, including this one. Elsewhere, Bristol beat Dragons 56-17 to reach the semi-finals of Rugby Union's European Challenge Cup. And after winning tennis's US Open last weekend, Naomi Osaka won't be taking part when the French Open starts later this month. She's withdrawn because of a hamstring injury. Plenty more right now over on Sky Sports News. We'll be back here on Sky News a little later. See you then.
Coming up on Sky News, another look at the morning's papers in our press preview. This is Sky News, our top stories. The Prime Minister says a second coronavirus wave is coming. Boris Johnson has refused to roll out a second national lockdown, but says he wants to keep schools and the economy open. Local lockdown restrictions will be enforced across parts of the North West, Midlands and West Yorkshire from Tuesday. The Mayor of London says similar rules are looking increasingly likely for the capital. That's after the UK's R number climbed again. Government scientists say it means that there's now widespread growth of the virus across the country. Now, with another look at today's newspapers, here's Anna.
Hello there, you're watching The Press Preview, our first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Over the next half an hour, we're going to be talking about the headlines with the director of the Demos think tank, Polly McKenzie, and the PR consultant, Alex Dean. So good to see you both. Hello, hello.
Okay.
Hi there.
So let's take a look then at what's making tomorrow's front pages. And the Mirror leads with the possibility of a second national lockdown that could affect 56 million people across England. The Eye declares that a second wave of the virus has begun. The Guardian has a very similar take with its top story. The Financial Times is slightly more cautious, describing a second wave as close, while the Express calls the eventuality inevitable. The Sun's headline, though, is nothing short of bleak. Fear we go again. The Times says the Prime Minister is worried there will again be hundreds of deaths each day. The Telegraph understands he could do away with the so-called rule of six and replace it with even tougher social distancing measures. While the Daily Mail reports that the Chancellor Rishi Sunak has told Boris Johnson he mustn't go too far with any new lockdown because it's likely to do serious damage to the economy. The Edinburgh Evening News carries stern words from the Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, do as you're told. And in case people would rather be somewhere else, the Star tells us they've bought their own planet to head off the possibility of nuclear Armageddon. Well, Polly McKenzie and Alex Dean here with me. And Polly, aside from the Star, the headlines really of one voice at all the different papers, aren't they? You've picked out the Guardian's, though. New lockdown fears as PM warns second wave is here. Does this feel like a big moment to you?
It feels like the very eve of a big moment. As you say, the papers are pretty united in their take. What differs is whether they're saying it's